Hello makers, and today I'm going to show you how to build this thing here, which is what I think is the ultimate in mobile wood storage carts. But then I would say that because I built it. But the reason I, the reason I think it's the ultimate is because down here we've got storage for your long, thin stock. In here we've got storage for your wider boards, medium length. Up top, got storage for your wider boards, but long. In here, we've got storage for full-size boards, but its secret weapon is on the other side. So follow me and I'll show you what's happening on the other side. Okay, before we start talking about the back, I need to show you something. Look at how adorable this guard dog is. Yep, just checking everything's okay. Yep, Roger this side, no intruders over here. You carry on, Dad. All right, thanks, Bruce. Okay, getting back to it. Business up front, party around the back. So the reason this is the ultimate in mobile wood cart storage is because of this thing here, which is a full-size panel saw. Okay, it's a bit crude, but it does the job. It is crude and simple. All you've got is you've got your board down here, fence, which I made, cordless circular saw, run it down the fence, cut your timber, and hope it doesn't fall off. Really, what you want to do is you just want to clamp this guy to here and to here just to make sure it doesn't fall on you. There is also a horizontal fence which will allow you to rip timber boards in half. Okay, stick around and I'll show you how it's made. I love these one-handed quick clamps. They're just so easy to use and they're so simple and they are so quick. They do exactly what they say on the tin. They are quick clamps. There we go. Clamped up beautifully. What do you reckon, Bruce? Is this good? Handiwork okay? What do you think? No, not really interested, are you? The whole frame is just put together really simply with screws. With the cross rails, I just screwed them in from the ends in the same way that I did the side rails. However, for the internal section here, I couldn't just screw them in from the ends because if I screw it in from this end and this guy's attached, I then can't pass a screw into there because this guy's in the way. So what I've done is I've used pocket holes and I have alternated the side on which the pocket holes go so that what happens is that the pocket hole screws will then slide across each other and not crash into each other. If you put the pocket holes going in the same direction, they're going to overlap like that and they're going to crash into each other. The other thing you can do, which I've done, is stagger the holes. So here I've got them there and there. On the other side I'll have them in between somewhat. Again, just so that you don't crash screws. Now the interesting thing about woodworking compared with metalworking, which I do a lot of, if that was metalworking, I'd just use the magic welding glue to glue everything together. Whereas with woodworking, you've got to really think about the joint and you've got to think about the internal structure of the joint and where your screws are going to make sure that your screws don't contact each other and also that you can actually access the site to put a screw in. So if you had done that joint without thinking and just screwed the cross member from the end, you'd have been quite stuck when you come to fit the final cross member because you'd have nowhere to screw to. So always, when you're planning your build, always plan with the construction in mind as well. You've got to think about how you're putting this thing together because it's all very well CADing something up on the computer, but if you physically can't put it together, you're stuck. More screws for the casters. Everything in my shop is on casters and is mobile because you never quite know when your needs are going to change and you'll need to move stuff around. Flipping it over, I love flipping these things over and getting them on their wheels. It marks a milestone in that the chassis is built, and now you can start building the actual structure. Okay, so the uprights go in next, and what I did is I put the two end uprights in first, and then I clamped a piece of timber to both of those, and this will act as a level or a plumb line that I can use to make sure all the, well, both of the middle two timbers are nice and straight and line up properly.
Very loud.
I've used the same technique to line up the second row of vertical supports to make sure everything's nice and level. Just put a piece of timber along the top, clamp everything together, and then screw it all in. Please don't do what I did, and do not hold screws in your mouth, because if you fall over, that screw's going to go somewhere it really shouldn't. If you need to line up a long beam, which is really hard to hold, a good tip is to put a couple of clamps in and then rest the beam across those clamps, which means the clamps are taking up all of the weight, and it makes it much more easy to line everything up and hold everything in position. Now that the main frame has been assembled, all I've got to do is add in the floorboards and add in some horizontal supports for some of the other loose boards, and then we're done.
Alrighty, all finished. There we go, ready to rock and roll and ready to be loaded up with lumber so that I can tie this shed up and get rid of all my lovely lumber off the floor, up onto this rack, and away we go. Okay, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for part 2, where I will show you how to make all the stuff for the panel saw around the back. Okay, thanks a lot, stay safe. Cheerio.